Uh, Taking the time to record 4 episodes takes a lot longer than I thought.
Gib, how long did you think this video was going to take?
I don't know. I just figured I'd just start recording and just go from there.
Right, but how long?
2 weeks? Okay, fine, 3! Fine! Whatever. Well, at least we're getting here and starting recording this. Oh, at least we're recording this, right? Are we?
I think we are.
Check. Yeah, we're recording and... Yeah, okay, so we're good. Alright, so hey there people, how we doing? It's Kibati with Gamer Cal here once again. I'm making sure I am making sure I am saying here again. I keep saying... I know, if I don't take the time to notice, I will say heal again, because it gets annoying really quickly. Fun times. But, getting to the point though, in case you missed it, RWBY Volume 4, Episode 6 just released, and boy howdy, this one really starts getting the action going. I'll just say that.
Yeah, there's actually what kind of counts as a fight scene in this one, which is better than the last, like, 3 or something.
Yeah. Well, on top of that, there's actually some more plot developing into this rather than just, Blake just sitting there at the same time for the whole episode, or sitting at the boat for the whole episode, just
yeah.
It just kind of helps to progress the story rather than just, you know, moving onwards, rather than just sit there and move the story on without even going or doing anything. But with that said, then yeah, episode 6 of this, it's actually a pretty good one. We're happy, and I'm excited to talk about this one, even though we're kind of recording this a little later than usual. But dick pics. But yeah, so. Once again, I'll put down the timestamps to when we'll actually be discussing certain topics, and thankfully we already have the topics written down here this time, so we're not going to get as lost as we did last time.
Who said we were lost? We just didn't have the map open yet, because they keep chucking it on the girl, goddammit.
Yeah, that's going to be the start of this whole thing. So, starting off this whole entire episode, before we get to that map throwing to the ground thing, this episode starts off with the Ranger gang actually starting their day of, another day, another adventure. So what's the agenda? Walking with the side of walking. And RWBY is not happy about that. She's not happy about that at all, because she figured it would take somehow from going from her hometown, or her home to Haven about 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops. And if anybody knows how map choreography works and how long it takes to go from one place to another region and then just to try and walk there, it takes a lot longer than that. But still, I guess it shows that RWBY still has hopes, but they're quickly being diminished with how long it's going to take them to get to their end destination. Which hopefully they'll get to that end destination soon enough.
She's still hopelessly naive on which makes sense. I mean, that's been kind of one of her few defining character traits throughout the whole show so far, is her ridiculous optimism and just naivety about how everything in the world works. So
it's just sad to see her lose a little bit of that when they're like, it's taking longer than we thought. But long trips tend to do that. Long trips just tend to go longer, especially if you're getting down to the second half of the journey. But
which is hopefully where they're at the moment.
Yeah, well, hopefully they should be there relatively soon, I would think. Well, you would think. We would think. But whether they get there or not, sooner than later is another thing, because they keep getting stopped by other things. Like, the next stop is in town that looks like it was attacked, but when you take a closer look at it, it was actually a town that was being constructed, and yet it's deserted.
Yeah,
Go on.
It sort of looks a little bit like, when you first see it, before even getting into what it actually is, you sort of think a kind of abandoned ghost town sort of thing, similar to Volume 2, you know?
Yeah.
With the whole thing there, and that actually turns out to pretty much be what it is. It's Oniyuri, and Ren unfortunately has a lot to say about that place.
Yeah, he really does. After they jumped the map off it, after finding out, oh, it's not here, I guess we don't need this anymore. Whoop, bye.
We should look for survivors. Chuck's map away that could help survival.
Damn you. Damn it, John. But as he said just a minute ago, once they find out the name of the town, Oniyuri, Ren has a lot to talk about this place, and boy, it took a minute to get all the information out, but from what I've gathered here, it's that the town, they were building this town in particular to try and get away from other aspects of their towns, other regions like Haven and such, and they tried to make it its own kingdom with its own set of rules and make it prosper and make it better and just make it into its own kingdom one day. As many people would think, it was actually going to be the future, as did Ren's parents that were somehow involved in this whole thing.
Yeah, so Ren was a, I guess, upper class citizen that way, or was born into an upper class family and whatnot, and then that happened.
Yeah,
that's
then
how
that
we got off, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it's not really much to laugh about, but
yeah, the only thing it doesn't really talk about what Ren's parents were like. I mean, were they obsessed with the idea of making their own kingdom? Were they just up for the ride and just got caught in the middle of it, or did they just kind of leave Ren behind while he was just a lone child and just kind of did things himself? Like, there's no. It explains a little bit as to what happened to Ren's parents, of course, but it doesn't give a little bit of a backstory as to what Ren's parents are like, or what they did, how they did it, and what they were like, and how Ren's relationship with his parents are like. Which I imagine is relatively close anyway, because of how much he would miss them, and how much this affects him. This happening, I should say. Well, how this happening affects him in that sense.
Yeah, and you sort of wonder, well, where was he in all of this? I mean, I guess it sort of depends how the construction was going on, because you would have thought, with how relatively well developed the place looks, you would have thought it had gone to the point where some of these would have started to move in, and at that point you'd be thinking, well, where's the rest of your, right?
Yeah, where's the rest of it?
You kind of wonder how stuff happened that way, because if Ren had been left behind so that his parents could, go to help construct the city and stuff, then, I mean, that would explain why he's alive, because otherwise you would think he would have immediately recognized the place. But the way that it's set up, he hadn't been to this place before. He only knew about it after Nora had discovered what the name of the place was. So he must not have seen this place or seen what happened. Only he must have been left behind and had only been given a second-hand account of what happened,
Yeah. See, it was funny you mentioned that, because it makes sense, because I was half thinking it was going to be a Kung Fu Panda thing. They're in town, somebody attacks, the mother takes the son away, the son's works wrong with somebody else, and they explicitly die from the grandma, which, by the way, when you know it, RWBY asks what happened to this town, and Ren just simply says what always happens. Grim. Somehow, the Grim always happens to everywhere, and it just seems to swallow up all the towns that are just not ready. Which, I'm wondering now, did they not get any hunters to defend themselves? Were there no hunters that were generally specific to defend the place while they were rebuilding it? Or were they just overswarmed with so much Grim that they just couldn't protect themselves, even if they would have so many hunters? I'm thinking the latter, though, because the Grim can swarm, and they can eat up a lot of people. And they can just swallow the whole.
The other thing, though, is when Ren's what he says after that, and not just someone or anyone. I can't remember exactly which thing it was, but
it's not just anyone.
It was implied that there was another force at work within that. That's interesting to think of, but I'm not really sure what to make of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, obviously it could be some sort of bandit type interaction.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's easy to point fingers at who that might be because we don't really know one bandit tribe at the moment. But that doesn't mean there's not more. This is Mistral after all. It's hard to say really. It just it wasn't just the Grimm that were there.
Yeah, it wasn't just the Grimm that just came in out of nowhere. But you pointed this out, and it really makes me wonder, because the point that I wanted to make is that I thought Oniyuri was almost the same as Shion, where it was first attacked by a tribe, or a gang of bandits or whatever, and then just swallowed up by the Grimm afterwards. But the difference here is that Shion was completely destroyed, with people dead, fresh, and their buildings were destroyed, and so many people things were dead. This place was strictly abandoned. That's it.
Yes, the Grimm haven't destroyed the place, which is incredibly unusual behavior for Grimm, right? Their basically sole purpose, from what we've had established in canon, is to destroy mankind and all of his creations. So why are the buildings not completely, like, destroyed, as in Mountain Glen, you know?
Yeah, that's one of those curious things. That was one of those curious things, but I was trying to get to the point that you were pointed out that after RWBY asked, after Ryan said not just anyone, and RWBY just asked one, you see a herd of crows, a flock of crows, I should say, that just kind of fly off into the distance. And if you remember, Qrow and Raven from their tribe are able to become crows and ravens. So, is it possible then that more members of this group are able to do such a thing and transform themselves into crows and ravens?
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that's related directly to the Oniyuri stuff, but that could actually be linked to Tyrion and him being able to hunt RWBY. Like, how would he know exactly where RWBY is right now? You know, he's obviously been hot on their trail, but perhaps been getting a little help from the local bandit tribes and whatnot.
Yeah. Then we'll get to the reason or speculation on that in just a minute, because that's pushing just a little bit to spoiler territory. Just a bit. So after that, they move on and they just go on in separate ways. The music sets in and the vocals start coming out of nowhere. It changes to this shot of the moon while the vocals are going off. And wow, I just have to say it here. I think Rooster Teeth just, I'm not gonna say they nailed it, but I can say they're definitely getting better at setting the atmosphere. Just how to arrange and how to set and how to make it feel like it was a sense of dread and a sense of worry that is setting in. But then after that just little shot comes in, we find out that the vocals are coming actually from Weiss, who is of course singing for the benefits that they're having. And man, she, of course, Weiss being a singer, she does have that voice. But I notice in this part here that if you listen to the lyrics, when you think there's a little bit of symbolism in there, where do you think she got the inspiration for the lyrics of that song? Where do you think she got those lyrics from?
Yeah, that rebellious streak though.
Oh, they're a little rebellious, but it just shows that Weiss, that herself, she's not gonna be set. She is not ready to be shackled down. She is not prisoned. This life is hers and hers alone. She's wanting to make it into her own and what she wants to do with it. But when you know it, she's kind of, what is it? Jacques has her under the under her thumb. So, yeah, she's pretty much stuck where she is right now because of Father right now. She was free for a moment when she joined Beacon, but then when she was forced to come back to Atlas because of what happened to Beacon, now she really is stuck again under the thumb of Jacques. Oh.
Yeah, and it's really hard to sort of think of just how is she going to get out of this. Just want to shout out real quick, just saying for Casey Williams nailed this again. You know, as far as the singing goes, is always impressed by the the soundtrack and stuff for the RWBY as a whole, even if it's a little bit weird. Her voice coming out of Weiss, I mean, it's understandable. Not, singers can often sound very different when they're singing compared to their normal speaking voices. So in that sense, it's fine. It's just it's maybe a little bit weird, but at the same time, you quickly forget it just because of how good the voice is.
You notice it here because it's how Weiss sounds, how she is, and the thing is, the only other time we heard Weiss sing, particularly, was during the White trailer, and we didn't necessarily know what Weiss sounded like, talking-wise, but you can hear the vocals coming from her, and she's supposed to be this great singer that's singing this very, very weary song, this sad song that she's singing that kicks up as soon as she gets to fight and whatever. And that's the only time you hear that singing voice. And this time when you hear it, you hear Weiss's voice after that, then you notice a little bit of a difference.
Yeah.
That's not to say, though, either way, Casey Lee Williams, you're fantastic. you got a voice that, man, I bet women would kill to have a singing voice like that. Oh, that was a great one. But with the song ending and the concert, quote-unquote, is over with, the benefit moves into the main ballroom where many of this high society people are talking and just enjoying a little time, just drinking and just talking and whatever. And then during this, we cut to Jacques talking to two random people that they're never named, and he mentions that we cut to a conversation where he's saying that the Faunus that work for the Schnee Company are getting the same wages as any other worker for the Schnee Company, which, if you remember how much the Faunus despise the Schnee Company, there's a little bit of bullshit happening. I'm just gonna flat say it. A little bit of what Jacques saying right now is a little bit of more bullshit than you're giving credit for. But
yeah, even if he is telling the truth with that, doesn't that they're treated equally in the workplace, or their conditions are probably absolutely terrible, and even if they were getting paid the same, they're basically still being treated like slaves, just slaves with a little bit more money than zero.
Just slaves with minimum wage.
Yeah,
slaves with minimum wage. That's all they are.
So that's just like the actual pay side of things is just one tiny facet of the entire mistreatment cycle here. So even if he is being truthful, which he probably isn't, he's still full of shit.
Yeah, it's like bull crap. Like, he's saying that the same benefits or the same wage. I think it's the same benefits as any other person, which, yeah, if they did, then they wouldn't be such a revolting towards you. And, man, Jacques, I want to smack you in the face.
He's a despicable man. Yeah, absolutely.
As it does. So, while this is happening, though, Weiss tries to go away and try to look at a portrait of Beacon, how it was beforehand. And a little tidbit here that Jacques does not want Weiss to walk away or just get away from his side. And I'm pretty sure that's a little bit more of his thumb over her and whatever, but I'm wondering if she's just not allowed to go far, or she's not allowed to talk to other people. Like, what is she allowed to do when she's alone? And would you leave her alone, at all in this crowd of people? Like, are you just trying to be that controlling a person that you just don't want her to be away from you? Like, I hate to say it this way, but just have a little dog on your leash, like, stay. Like,
Yeah.
ugh.
No, that seems exactly like the sort of person he is. So, not surprised because he wants. So the whole point of this thing, really, like the underlying point, is not to help Vale at all. It's to help his company's image, and his daughter was there at the fight, and he very clearly wants her by his side during this whole thing. So, basically as a status symbol, going, yeah, my daughter of this company was at the front lines in this whole thing. Like, we're not the bad guys here. You totally are.
You totally are, though. You totally are. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody is rolling over you to make sure you're doing the naughty things.
Yeah. And it's the sort of thing that, like, maybe it's stereotypical, but it's also mostly completely true, and as history has it, in all of these sort of aristocratic, top of society type of meaning stuff. It's always the way that it is. It's all about image rather than the actual substance of things. And Weiss as a status symbol is more important to Jacques than pretty much anything else at the moment. And he does not want to let go of that, clearly.
Probably why he demanded her to come straight back after Beacon, just to make sure that this prodigy that he has doesn't have anything happen to her. So, oh, Junk, you're still despicable. But getting back on track here with this episode, then, after Weiss gets away to look at this picture of Beacon, she tries to get some guy named Henry, who's voiced by a guest appearance, who, actually I saw his Twitter saying, I voiced this part, yay! So, shout out to the guy who got to voice it, good job. But, this guy, he comes in, tries to break the ice, trying to, like, sway and just get to know Weiss, whatever. But, he just admits that he's here just for the drinks and the food and the ladies and whatever, and he doesn't know what this benefit is for. He doesn't really care about the benefit. He just kind of comes here for the food and drinks, and that shows what kind of people that these people are. They don't give two shits about Beacon. They don't give two shits about trying to help out others or get money, whatever. They're trying to sell that portrait that Weiss is looking at. They're trying to sell that picture to try and help benefit Beacon in the first place. But nobody wants to buy that. Nobody wants to get money to some place out in the middle of nowhere. And not only that, though, even after Weiss just flat out demands Henry to leave and just says, goodbye, go away, get out of here. I'm scared to get you out of here, whatever. It cuts to then some more people talking and just what they really feel about it. And God, I hate high society.
Yeah, and it's the sort of stereotypical thing that you would expect to hear. So it's not necessarily surprising or, shock storytelling type thing. But it's almost definitely like how this would go if it was in real life too. So it's not, it's not inaccurate.
No.
It isn't, even if it is unsurprising. But
Yeah.
It's really nasty stuff. And having been on the other side of things, I guess, Weiss is just not into that at all at this point.
Weiss was there to actually see this happening, and she grew as a person, and she grew as an actual society that actually gave a damn, and she knows and understands that there's problems with this, and they need to help out. And yeah, well, when Weiss starts hearing about these people talking, she gets angry, and she
thing before that though. You remember I can't remember exactly which season it was in, but she's mentioned before that a lot of guys and stuff are only interested in her for her name.
Mm-hmm.
Henry was pretty much exactly that same way right there. He was only really interested in talking to her because of her name. And that sort of, it's nice to, in a way, to, as dickish as he is, it's nice to see exactly what she was talking about in the past, you know, is why she's so cold towards her, but, you know, like guys and stuff are being probably interested in her for her status, not for her as a person.
Mm-hmm.
We get to see that here firsthand.
I'm really hoping that one day Weiss will actually... I'm not saying Weiss should go out with John, but I'm just hoping that Weiss and John will actually be comrades one day. I mean, they're friends now. They talk, and they're friends, whatever, but I just think it's... I just hope Weiss just actually lets down the wall just a little bit when she gets back. If she gets back. And just...
If she gets back.
Yeah, I should say if she gets back. Just let it down a little bit, just get to know more people, and just relax. There's more to you than just a name. People will understand that. Still, that doesn't mean that she's not still angry, and she let everybody know how angry she is, how annoyed about how society is working right now, and her trying to explode at something that a woman said because woman talking, whatever. But when Chuck's trying to make it stop, and just not ruin the Schnee name, whatever, the anger starts to build up to the point that she's starting to summon without much hassle. As this shows with her anger, when she falls, she has a summoning seal pop up, and when you know it, she summons the Borbatusk. That same Borbatusk that she took down in Season 1. Oh, she can summon things again. And she can summon them fully, not just an arm from what she defeated before. But even though this was an accident, she actually summoned something full this instead.
Winter did mention that emotions can fuel this sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
When they did that attempted practice session stuff.
Yeah, like what is it?
Say
It's
that
like,
it was...
emotions can be a good weapon to help you gain what you need, but too much or too little, or if the emotions are too strong, then it'll just crumble. It'll just result in something bad. And when you know this resulted in something bad.
Yeah, so you've kind of got to wonder how much has Weiss been practicing this as well, because to go from... I mean, both times that she's actually done summoning stuff, it has been without being fully conscious of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or even remotely conscious of it, and you've kind of got to be wondering, like, how much work has she put into this, because that is a big leap to go, even if it is unconscious like before, that is a big leap to go from an arm in a Yukari portal to a full-blown, you know, Grim like Winter was summoning, you know?
Yeah, that's the one. It was one Grim that she had problems with that she just overcame, and when you know it, it's some of the monsters that she overcame and such. But it shows. I don't know if it's her practicing. I'm pretty sure it's a little bit of practicing in it when she's stuck in her room all day, just not being able to do much, but she's able to practice. But I think it's also just because of how much anger she would feel from this situation, with how much anger has built from being in high society and knowing how it works. It's just that one comment about how Vale was and how it worked, whatever, and how they deserved to go down, whatever. That, I think that was the last straw. Like, she...
Oh yeah, definitely.
She was not ready to put up anymore.
That did sort of put a semblance out of control, but there's the other point, actually. She obviously doesn't have a weapon with her right now, so I guess, like, she doesn't really need that to do any of the stuff with this. It was never really clear, was it? Because when she was doing the practice stuff in Volume 3, obviously she had her weapon drawn, she had it out, she was clearly running something through that to try and generate the portal, but not so much here.
I don't think Winter actually summoned hers with a weapon, did she?
No, she didn't. But at the same time, just because it's an inherited semblance doesn't mean it's run the same way through every person in the family, right?
I wouldn't imagine it was just because of the weapon that she was using. I mean, semblance comes from within, but I imagine with the weapon you might have more control, and you might try to make it more to your bidding fully, and to make you have it full control with the weapon. But without it, and with all the anger, it just kind of goes wild.
I think it was just because we've never really seen her use glyphs without the weapon either, so...
Yeah, that's true.
She's not really been in many, unlike Ruby, she's not been in many combat situations without a weapon, but...
Though her weapon actually did come with like a certain number of dust, different kind of dust that summons different selves or whatever. So
it does change her glyphs.
Yeah. So maybe this glyph in general, this summoning glyph, maybe that's the one inherited thing that she can do without her weapon. Maybe.
Possible.
You never know. So moving on then after that bit, when she summons this Warthog Grim, which is called the Borbotusk, I just figured out. This thing tries to charge against the woman that was yelling. Ironwood quickly and promptly just brings it down the ground and just makes it dissipate. And everyone's looking on, everyone's freaking out. The woman is just trying to flat out say arrest Weiss because she is crazy, she's nutty, whatever. Ironwood, she just looks at the woman and says, she's the only one making sense.
So Ironwood to Ironwood being a badass.
Yes, Ironwood, not just a badass, but somebody that is comprehending and just understanding the situation and isn't just high society. He isn't just a general and doesn't just try and be tight on being control, whatever. He's a person. He knows this is bad stuff. He knows what these people are doing, how these people are despicable, whatever. He knows the whole situation. And yeah, he agrees that Weiss makes sense. So yeah, Ironwood, bravo.
even if the woman technically would have a point if this was real life lore and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because just because it's sort of accidental doesn't necessarily excusable.
Just flat out, accidental homicide is still homicide. Like, there's no ifs and buts about it. But this is a different world. This operates on different things.
Exactly. So might not be
and besides
the same
that,
sort of thing.
And besides that, this Ironwood was there, and he's being head general, whatever. He can just say, that's not worth arresting somebody for. Moving on.
Yep. Just as the badass he is.
So, just moving on. Time to leave. Nice party, Jock. Bye. Oh, and the glare that Jock gives. Oh, he's ready to somebody. He's ready
This is the whole attempt to, will she get away thing is, well, if he has anything to say about it.
I don't think so, because that evil glare, that's the kind of glare that makes puppies cry. But that was the end of that night. So, promptly back to Team Ranger, and they're moving on through Oniyuri. They are trying to walk through. Ren stops him because he can hear from God knows how far away that somebody's approaching. And
Ren's spidey senses tingling.
Spider sense. He's a spider! He's a Faunus too!
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either. Just of how high he can jump from the battles. Just, golly, Ren, what are you?
Did you notice that Tyrion was running through that same sort of background bit as what we saw, Oscar, sort of like that bit, and the bit where Amber was attacked? It looked really, really similar.
They're probably right in the area, right where it looks similar to that area. I don't think it's the same exact area, but they're close. They're really close to where that happened and where Oscar is. Oh, that's relatively close then. I'm wondering if Oscar actually has any connection with Oniyuri then, or his family does. Not just
possible.
That's just speculation right now, but we'll talk about that another time because that's not really worth mentioning right now.
Yeah, it's kind of off topic, but I just sort of want to mention that it's a similar sort of area. So maybe just reusing assets. Maybe it's actually, usually everything isn't in this show.
Everything is connected somehow. But that's again, that's a topic for another time. So. While Ren's hearing this, suddenly out of nowhere, Tyrion just flat out comes in and he just comes straight in. Straight away, we get our next battle. Tyrion is ready to just not wreck house, but kind of get rid of the other three so he can capture RWBY. And
he was gunning straight for RWBY there too. Like, Ren jumped in the way at the very start, but he was going right for RWBY from the word go. no questions asked.
Yeah,
You know,
no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He wants RWBY, and that's his task, is to get RWBY and just to bring him back to Salem. But, oh man, the way he attacks, he knows what he's doing. And this is something I noticed, that I grow concerned with how strong that Salem's group is. I'm legit intimidated by it. That he gets one swing in onto RWBY. He hits her scythe more than he did hit her body. But you see that aura is affected, that he's depleting that aura right then and there. Even the strongest attacks from the previous seasons have not fully gotten rid of the aura unless they were promptly hit again and again and again. I base this off seeing Qrow with how she took a number of hits and was able to get up whatever, but then near the end you just see that aura just suddenly poof, gone.
Alright, I want to make a slight correction on stuff there. Like, it wasn't hit the scythe, drain the aura. He hit the scythe on the first hit, but then the second attack was too fast for her to actually get the scythe up to deflect
Is that
it.
what it was?
She actually got struck in the face by the second hit.
I actually hadn't seen. It's been a while since I've seen the episode, so some details are just kind of poof.
Yeah,
gone.
if aura wasn't a thing, she would have had a gigantic slash off of her face right there.
Yeah, but you see the aura coming off of RWBY there, and that's worrisome. Did he just flat out get rid of the aura that was right there, or did he just dense the aura so much that just a few swings on that and suddenly the aura is all gone? That is scary to think about how strong Tyrion, Hazel, Dr. Watts. Oh, it's scary.
Even Cinder before getting the maiden power.
Yeah, even before the maiden power. Now she's just kind of Super Saiyan with a missing eye.
Well, yeah, just with a weakness of some sort.
Not with a weakness, but she's still got to overcome it. But still, it's very intimidating to think that way. So, after a little bit of fighting, they stop for a minute to talk and ask him what he's doing, why he's here, whatever. And
as he casually backflips into a building, because, you know...
Yeah, because he just kind of... He black says, poof! Just kind of sits there. Huh. I guess I did that. Okay. And after he jumps down and they ask him what he did, what he's doing, why is he here, he just flat out says, what I doing right now, what my mission is, does not interest you, or well,
you do interest me. I love his speech pattern. It's so good.
Yeah, this voice actor, he gives that really good chilling effect of this guy. He knows what he's doing, but he can be crazily insane enough to get his job done. Oh, he hits some good spots with his voice acting. But what I want to point out here is that he's interested in John? What? Why? John? Why? Why John? That's one of those bigger questions that I have to ask, and I have to be legit curious on this one, and I kind of want this answered next episode.
Which is probably not going to happen, let's be honest. But so we have known for the longest time that Jean has some ridiculous potential with it, right? Because when his aura got unlocked by Pyrrhus, she was, drained a little bit from doing that, from how much aura he had to unlock. Like, he clearly has something, either just with his aura or with his semblance as well. There is something very, very powerful there, and I imagine Tyrion can sense something with that, but obviously he's not giving the game away at the moment because he's a jerk face. But
playing the pronoun game.
Yeah.
Damn pronoun games. That's a cinema sin right there. Ding. So yeah, after they mentioned that he was interested in John, I should say, he just simply mentions that he wants to bring RWBY with her and just whisk her away to another land. And
you ever feel like he's got this sort of Shakespearean style of speaking in a way, just not with the old English typing, but a sort of modern language take on that?
His language, his speech is definitely interesting, especially if he tries to stay calm and just kind of calmly says, well, I'm just doing this and I'm just doing that. his speech is really different when he goes from insane mode to this just common talk. He has a different sense of range of talking, and his psyche. Ooh, it's something. It's something. So after that little dispute, they don't plan to give her away. Good.
Yes,
Good.
I love that. I love that delivery. Just good.
Oh, yep. He back to the same mode. Oh, wow. You just look at this guy and I get the crease from him. Wow. Ugh. So after they say that, he's ready to go attack again. He attacks John first, but Ren knocks it off, and then after just batting him away, he goes after Nora. RWBY tries to fire, but the shot hits Nora. He just sits there laughing at it. If that's not irony, well, the irony is about to kick you in the face because...
And yeah, you know the fun thing with that is you know that RWBY wasn't aiming for Tyrion, because if she was, Tyrion would have dodged out of the way.
Exactly.
The way that it's sort of framed, you would look at it and go, well, he didn't notice the bullet until it's gone past, so surely if he'd have been, but no, if RWBY was aiming at Tyrion, he would have dodged that, absolutely.
Yeah,
it
100%.
was more just a shock of, wait, you're missing me here? What's going on,
Yeah. But, yeah, she does miss, and she shot Nora, but she shot her with electricity dust. You know what that means?
Yeah. Now,
She gets up, and she's ready to attack. You got something to say?
I was gonna say, this, like, from Team Ranger's perspective, this fight was terrible, right? The fight itself was really cool, just seeing, how strong Tyrion is, blah blah, but Team Ranger had absolutely no coordination with anything in this fight at all.
Yeah.
I know they were, hey, Nora's gonna go supercharged stuff, but they should have still been attacking. Like, they gave the game away with this, that something was going on with her because they just stopped and grouped together and their weapons weren't in ready position or whatever, so they weren't looking to continue to fight themselves. They should have kept going, and maybe the plan would have actually done something.
Yeah, and not only that though, but even after when RWBY shot Nora, you were just saying, maybe they should have just kept attacking him to distract him until Nora was ready to go for the kill, because she just went for the kill while he was distracted, but when you know it, they bought him just enough time for him to notice right at the last second. And how does he get out of this death blow right there? He doesn't dodge, he doesn't just block, he blocks with a tail. A freaking long, skinny scorpion tail that shows that Tyrion isn't just a crazy man that has a good laugh and a good delivery of voicing. He's a freaking Faunus. Salem has a Faunus as the leader, and yeah, they want to try to get Adam Rose and the leader or whatever and do that, but she already has this guy, a Faunus, that, man, he has man, his senses must be nuts to be able to do that, because he was able to sense that, he was able to block that with just his tail. No sense of damage whatsoever.
Yeah, because if you notice the way that it looked, like, there'd been a couple of points in this fight already, like when he started to attack John after the exposition, that you've seen how fast he goes. He was behind John before John had even really been able to look and see where's he gone, sort of thing. And Nora did exactly the same thing to him at that point. And you very briefly in that slowdown part got a look at his expression going from, a little bit of what's going on sort of thing to, oh shit, till the stuff is like, wait, what the fuck is going on here? And then, the swing happens, and that timing is so short. As far as if that was done in real time, that would be like fractions of a second. And his reflexes on that, fucking impressive.
Yeah,
let me tell
reflexes and being able to know how to block it with just his tail. That tail of his must be super freaking strong. and able to deliver some crazy blows if it's that strong to block that supercharged hammer strike from Nora.
Yep.
That's scary. That's another scary thing about him. Oh, jeez. So after revealing he's a Faunus and they simply ask him if he has allegiance with the White Fang, Adam Taurus, and whatever, he just simply says that his heart, or not his heart, but his duties, his soul, belong solely to the Queen, which they would think Cinder.
Only in her wildest dreams.
Yeah, only in her wildest dreams. Ooh, that delivery. This voice actor, he knows how to deliver some of those lines. He does know how to deliver them. But they now know that Cinder is not the leader anymore. There's somebody else that's higher up than that. And they couldn't process that real quickly though, because Tyrion is quickly right back on them using his little his arm daggers that are his pincers with his scorpion tail. Yeah, he's a scorpion. Whatever.
Yeah, it's so thematic. Like his whole weaponry situation is incredibly good for for really bringing across that theme of he's a scorpion. Deal with it.
Deal with it. He's a scorpion. Deal with it.
And yet his ponytail basically serves as a second tail, which is kind of funny. We never really got any sort of look at that whatsoever. But in this fight later on, you see it's not just his actual tail he's got that way. He kind of has that little scorpion tail pincer thing at the end of his ponytail as well. So that's a thing.
Yeah, his hair rolled up is made into a stinger. So he has two stingers with his weapons here. He's fast, he's reflexive, he's strong, and good God, they are
gun boots.
Yeah, and he's got gun boots.
Because there was, after blocking Nora's shot, there were definitely gun sounds off of that, and I have a hard time seeing that coming from the arm blades there. That did not seem like the way that where the gun sound would have come from.
Yeah. Just
based on his motion. Definitely not quite the same sort of thing as what Mercury's got, but a similar idea.
Yeah.
Seems to be the case.
Yeah. Whereas Mercury has his whole entire legs being metal and his whole legs being a weapon with the guns, whatever. This looks like it's coming straight from his boot. Not just anywhere else, but he specifically built his boots to be a gun. And well, you know it, everybody has a gun still. Everybody has to have some kind of gun. But, that's...
I mean, if Gundren has told us anything, it's that gun boots are pretty successful, so...
I won't doubt it. I won't doubt that gun boots are very successful in what they do. So while Tyrion is still fighting him off, trying to capture RWBY and whatever, we get images of a Qrow, I should say, flying into the battle and trying to catch up, and when you know it, suddenly, poof, the Qrow turns to Qrow. Yeah, it's double confirmed now. Qrow is actually a Qrow. Because I had speculation that maybe it was during in between recordings of In Case You Missed It, but I had a speculation that when Qrow jumped down at the end of Volume 3 and a Qrow fly by, it's like, maybe that's just one of his Qrows that just kind of flew by. Nope, it's Qrow, because this just kind of confirmed it. It's Qrow. He's a Qrow. Deal with it.
Yeah.
And he tries to hurry up to the battle. He's trying to get there. And the only thing I want to say about this is that I'm a little bit... what's the word I'm looking for? I'm a little less surprised and a little less into it when I see somebody trying to hurry up and get there. Unless somebody is like really, really in dying need, like it's about to be like a sword straight to the gut or something. I just feel like it kind of takes it out, and because you expect him to come, you expect him to get there at the last second in these kind of anime cliches that they just happen to have. Then that's what we got, which was he just comes at the last second. As soon as Stinger was about to hit him, he comes in, sword blocks him. He's facing towards RWBY. Cliche. We knew he was going to be there, but I just kind of wish it would just have him. It would cut out all the images of Qrow running towards it, and just suddenly, boosh through the building. Qrow just stands there with the swords blocking the dagger, or not dagger, the stinger. I thought that would have made a much better impact than what we got. It was still good.
Yeah, maybe it would have. But I mean, I think a lot of the reason that was done is just to sort of affirm from the speculation of stuff like what you had with, is he actually able to turn into a Qrow or whatnot? No, I think they wanted to just reveal that at this point as well.
Yeah, and, fully 100% confirm it, not just put on speculation at the end of Volume 3.
Yeah.
Now, he comes in, he stands there, he blocks the attack. RWBY looks up to see Qrow. She's happy. He just simply says hi. And last thing I want to mention is that, where was he? Like, he was staying back, far back, so that they wouldn't detect him, and he could watch over him from a distance and such, killing off the Grimm and just trying to attack them or whatever. But wouldn't you think he would see Tyrion coming up out of nowhere, or was Tyrion just that fast to get there? He was fast, but I'm wondering if he was that fast to get there.
I mean,
and what was Qrow doing? That's the main question of it. What was Qrow doing?
Well, Qrow's still looking for the Spring Maiden, right?
Is he? I mean, he asked Raven if she knew, of course, but I don't know if he was like really out looking while he's protecting Team Ranger. That seemed, well, maybe he's looking for him while he's on his way.
I mean, he implied that somebody was helping, Raven and her tribe when it came to the whole Xion village thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's like two ways that could maybe go. Is one of them could potentially be that it was to do with Tyrion. Maybe the other one is that Raven's tribe has the Spring Maiden, and it was what better way of keeping one in hiding, right? Than to have it in a bandit tribe, because if especially a really strong one with someone like Raven on board.
Mm-hmm.
That's one possibility I've heard from other sort of discussion stuff. But if it was to do with Tyrion, perhaps, and it was him, he was actually with the tribe when they ransacked the village, sort of thing. Qrow obviously picked up on that. That might sort of lead into this a bit, but that he might have been trying to follow the trail, but didn't pick up on it until a bit later on, Maybe he even went back to that inn afterwards with, the old barmaid and whatnot, and got told that somebody really creepy came in and looked at stuff that way. That's also plausible. We don't know how much time passes here.
Yeah, a little bit of story explanation maybe for next episode, just to show, where's Qrow been up to? He's been here, now he's here. Game on! Which, yeah, I can see that. I can see that Qrow's main objective, not just to tail along with Ranger, but he has his own objectives to get done. The Spring Maiden, trying to find the relic, and yeah, it's all building up to what he has to do, because it's... You were mentioning yourself he was trying to do all these things at once, trying to get his objectives done. I'm wondering if this is also because he has to pick up where Ozpin left off, because he did say he was going to do that, because he's picking out where Ozpin left off. That's what he said at the end of Season 3. So maybe this is more of him just trying to do all this while he has Ozpin's cane. If he has it, I don't know where it's at. But yeah, I can see that. Maybe he's just trying to do what Ozpin was trying to do, and just try to find Spring Maiden, trying to get situations handled, trying to find out who Salem's group is, what they're doing, who they're trying to handle, all that.
Yeah, it's effectively continuing the missions that Ozpin had sent him on beforehand. But it just so happens that sort of coinciding, like, the reason he even told RWBY to go to Haven in the first place, indirectly of course, was most likely because that's the direction he would be heading anyway. And that's like the next sort of objective where he needs to be going. And when RWBY mentioned that she wanted to help, this is basically his way of going, well, if you want to help, this is the direction I'm going. even though he obviously didn't say it that way because spoilers.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he just simply said rest up and get weary, and the enemy's trail leads to Haven. It would be a long journey for a squirrel like you. But she took up the challenge and she's up for it, and well, you know it, she's up for another challenge here with Tyrion. So, oh man, this episode, I believe this was one of the better episodes, I thought, because it just really got the action going. It just set the mood right, and I love the fact that they're meeting Tyrion for the first time as well. But Tyrion himself, the character that they're establishing with this episode, that they established him more, they made him more of a character, and yeah, it's that typical kind of crazy guy, whatever. But the delivery behind him, I feel, really sets in what this episode was about. I believe it was just on point with how the episode flowed.
Yeah, it was nicely structured. I still would have liked to have seen a little bit more coordination from Team RWBY in the fight, but maybe that's just Tyrion being too overwhelming.
Yeah, maybe Tyrion's being too good. Maybe they're not used to just fighting one person. Maybe they're just used to fighting one big giant Grim.
It just sort of felt like they were constantly just going at him one-on-one, rather than trying to actually work together too much with it. But again, that might have just been him being too over.
Yeah, that's kind of like how movies do it too. It's like if you have a group of people, you're not just group people fighting. You're sending one person in, then another person in, then another person in. That's how that one person handles that big giant group. Just everyone come in at once. He can't block every single attack. Or maybe he can. You never know what Tyrion can do.
Incoming chaos control, chaos blast.
Yeah, friggin' Tyrion. You never know. You don't know what he's capable of at this point. You know what I mean? You know, but like, is he stronger? Is he stronger than this? Like, how much stronger is he? We're gonna see that once he fights Qrow. Oh, this is gonna be a good episode. I can just taste it. Oh, but as for now, though, this episode, RWBY Volume 4, Episode 6, this was a really good start for this Rolling Stone effect to get this really going and just get this story just bumping. And it's gonna be good. I need to mention this as well. The next, in case you missed it, may be coming in a little bit after New Year's. Probably a little bit more after that. Because next week is Christmas, next week after that is New Year's, and we got stuff to be doing and all that, so rather they actually release episodes after next week, or if they want to keep, or if they want to take a break, I should say. If they want to take a break after this with their Christmas break or whatever, because I think last year they actually did stop at episode 7 and take a break.
They stopped at 6 last thing, yeah. But they also had fewer World of Remnants in between stuff, which I know a lot of people have been complaining about because it's in stuff and the thing that's already got flawed plot lines. Flawed plot lines. We will get there eventually. 4 plot lines going at the same time because of the different characters.
Flawed plot lines. Say that 2 times fast.
There'd be too many fractured things. The World of Remnants really not helping that lot, but. Yeah, last year they only had 2 of those, and they stopped at episode 6 before, which is of course the one with the Yang busting the leg, blah blah blah. Break a leg, sis. Didn't know how fucking accurate that was.
Yeah, I'm gonna break his other leg.
So
you really should. I feel you should really watch the interview they did with Australia and the Australia RTX. It's pretty funny.
I think I did actually, because wasn't that the one that they had the character thing for?
They had the FaceTime on with their character.
Yeah, I do remember seeing that. That's pretty good. Just one more thing related with the episode stuff here. I know you've sort of mentioned in your note stuff that Tyrion's weaponry and attacks in general just seem to be really heavily affecting the aura from RWBY and whatnot here.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's got something to do with his semblance. Because it could be some. I think this is another thing I picked up from other theory video and discussion stuff I've seen. what if his being a scorpion or whatnot? What if his semblance is to do with aura poisoning?
That's. Oh man, Tyrion, why are you so overpowered?
That would be really scary, but like as you were saying, this is the only other time that we've seen the aura cloud type or the aura light effect happen is when it has been completely drained. This obviously hasn't been the case in this one because that happened 4 times on RWBY stuff before the kick eventually drained it entirely. But what if his slashes and stuff, either from his semblance or maybe just from some sort of light coating or whatever on the weapon, what if that's causing a sort of poison type drain effect on the aura?
Man, that would make Tyrion super, super deadly, even for somebody like Qrow. That's high level stuff there. If Tyrion is that kind of strong, oh wow, Tyrion, I'm just gonna hide under my bed and hope he goes away.
And it would thematically make sense too, because that's how paralytic sort of poison day stuff. That's how scorpions get their prey and whatnot. It's not just with the pincers; it's their tail incapacitates them as well. So it would thematically make sense.
The tail stings them. They're paralyzed. They stop in their tracks. The scorpion comes up, just pinches up the thing, and eats them up.
Yep.
But this time, Tyrion's just trying to capture him and using this aura poisoning to try and poison her down to just being paralyzed and such. Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, if it was some sort of paralytic thing in the end, then you could see it in that fashion, right? That she'd be incapacitated entirely. You'd be able to just hold her up over your shoulder, hold her on the shoulder, and just go about that sort of way, if nothing else,
He'll have to get some good strikes in, because right now we're just seeing him get to the aura, and that's it. I don't think he's actually depleted the aura yet. But once he does and he gets that stinger in, which I think that's what was going to happen before Qrow interrupts.
He was going for the eye. From episode 1 of his whole eye for an eye sort of thing.
Yeah.
He was going for the eye there, and I'm pretty sure RWBY's aura was completely there. And so if he had landed, that eye would have been gone.
That would have been eye for an eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fun. Tyrion. Oh, I cannot wait for the next episode. I cannot wait. If it shows that I'm more than excited for it, I can't wait for it. But I have to wait, as we all do, as RWBY Volume 4, Episode 7 comes along just around the corner. We don't know when that's going to happen, but we know it's not going to be recorded during Christmas or New Year's or whatever. So before I actually get to that point, then I'll just simply say now, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, hope everyone has a good one this year, and hope everyone has a safe one this year, and all that. So, yeah, I guess that's about it for now. So, until next time.
Bye!